too busy for Christmas, until a mechanic and his little girl repaired the CEO's heart. The cold bit deeper than the wind as the hood of the car rose like a confession, steam breathing into the December air, and in that fragile moment a man who owned entire skylines realized he could not fix the one thing that mattered. Christmas lights blurred across the street, wreaths trembling on brick doors, and the CEO's perfectly scheduled life stalled on a quiet suburban curb, where time finally caught him and demanded to be felt. If you believe that kindness still finds its way through the cracks of busy lives, take a second to like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel Ripple of Kindness. Drop a comment too, because stories like this only travel when people who believe in second chances help carry them forward. He had built his empire on speed, on the art of never stopping, on turning minutes into money and people into numbers. December was a spreadsheet to him, a quarter to close, a year to dominate. Christmas had become a background noise, a decorative inconvenience he passed between meetings, glass lobbies, and black cars. That morning, the call that pulled him away from his own house was urgent, and the silence he left behind was permanent enough to feel familiar. He did not see the wreath on his door as he left, did not hear the quiet hope inside the house he barely entered anymore. His phone buzzed with power and pressure, and then the engine coughed, shuddered, and died in front of a modest home dressed in lights and warmth. The mechanic who stepped out of that home had hands that told a life story before his face did. Grease lived under his nails like an honest badge, and his shoulders carried the kind of tired that comes from giving without asking the world to notice. He had closed his small shop early because Christmas Eve was sacred to his little girl, who stood beside him bundled in red, holding a mug that steamed with something sweet. Snow drifted lazily, and the street felt like a movie set paused between takes, waiting for a choice. The CEO barely looked up at first. Pride is loud even when it says nothing. He checked his phone, paced, calculated delays, and felt the familiar anger rise at the inconvenience of being human. But the mechanic did not rush, did not apologize for the cold or the time. He moved with patience, lifting the hood, listening, touching the engine the way a doctor listens to a chest, steady and attentive. The little girl watched closely, eyes wide, as if engines were puzzles that revealed secrets to those who treated them kindly. As the repair began, something unexpected happened. Time slowed. The CEO noticed the quiet laugh of snow on his coat, the soft glow of lights reflected in the windshield, the way the little girl's breath fogged the air as she leaned closer to see. He noticed his own hands shaking, not from the cold, but from the weight of years spent outrunning moments like this. The mechanic worked with a calm that felt foreign to a man who lived by deadlines, and that calm began to unsettle him. The car resisted at first, as stubborn as the heart that owned it. The mechanic tried again, careful and methodical, refusing to force what needed understanding. The little girl's patience was endless, her presence gentle, her belief in her father absolute. She did not see a powerful executive stranded in a luxury car, she saw a person who needed help on Christmas Eve. That simplicity pressed against the CEO's chest in a way boardrooms never had. Memories surfaced uninvited. A childhood Christmas long ago, when time felt infinite and joy arrived without negotiation. A small house, a warm kitchen, hands that fixed things not because they were paid to, but because that was love. He had traded all of that for speed, and now speed had abandoned him. The mechanic's hand slipped once, and the CEO instinctively reached to help, surprised by his own movement, by the shared silence that followed, by the way helping felt. The engine finally turned over with a sound that felt like forgiveness. Relief washed over the CEO, but it was different this time, quieter, heavier. Gratitude tried to form words, but something deeper blocked it, something that had been waiting years to be acknowledged. He looked at the modest house behind them, the decorations placed with care, the warmth visible through the windows, and he understood that this family had already given him more than a repair. As he reached for his wallet, the mechanic shook his head, his expression firm but kind. Christmas Eve was not for transactions, only for doing what was right. The little girl smiled, proud, as if the refusal itself was the gift. The CEO felt something break open inside him, a crack wide enough for light. He had built his life on buying solutions, but this one could not be purchased. He drove away slowly, not because the car needed it, but because he did. The road ahead felt different, less like a race and more like a path. He turned around at the next corner, not to return, but to head home for the first time in years without checking his phone. The house he had left that morning was still there, waiting, and so was the person he had been before he forgot how to stop. In the days that followed, the mechanic's shop changed in small but meaningful ways. Tools were upgraded, bills eased, and opportunities arrived quietly, anonymously, like snow in the night. The CEO never took credit. He did not need to. The repair had already happened where it mattered. He began leaving earlier, listening longer, choosing presence over profit in moments that counted. Christmas returned to his calendar, not as an obligation, but as a reminder. If this story is touching something inside you, if it reminds you of a moment you almost missed or a kindness that changed you, please take a second now to like the video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to Ripple Out Kindness. Your engagement helps stories like this reach hearts that are still waiting to be repaired. Before this story ends, we have a special request for you. Comment below with the word kindness and share a moment when someone helped you without expecting anything in return. Because sometimes, the world does not need another powerful decision or perfect plan. Sometimes it only needs a stalled car, a patient mechanic, a small girl with belief in her eyes, and the courage to stop long enough for a heart to remember how to work again.